Yo, what is going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we've got a big video on Bitcoin, the price exploding that we can see absolutely going crazy here. We've absolutely taken off. It was over $40,000 at one point, obviously seeing a drawback from that right now. But the biggest thing to take away from this is that right now we're making higher highs. So that hasn't been done, since back around this point here. And this is where we're combating this higher high. But this is the first time in a long time. This is the daily chart that we're making a higher high, which is good signs. Obviously, a lot of volatility, which is good signs as well. It's just showing there's so much more volume coming back in, and that is important because volume has been down for a while. But what we want to see here to continue, a super surge into like new all-time highs would be breaking around $46,000. That's the moving average. That's going to be a big point. But that's like short-term trading. Again, long-term, still looking great. Fundamentals have never been better. Bitcoin adoption continues, and we do have big earnings this week with Apple, Amazon, Google, these big tech companies. And they could announce that they are added Bitcoin to the balance sheet. They're accepting Bitcoin for payment. There's been that big rumor with Amazon that I made a video on that the other day, talking about Amazon accepting Bitcoin as payment, and they could announce that during their earnings. That would be a big announcement. Apple, if they announced that they bought Bitcoin and put it on their balance sheet, that would be huge. If Google did that, that would be massive. So we've got a lot of factors here to consider, but we also have these shorts absolutely plummeting, under 2,000 short now. So the longs are down as well. They're like 2% down. Is nothing compared to the shorts being down, obviously. And we had huge shorts liquidated. It was over $1 billion in shorts that got liquidated. So this chart right here, you can see part of it here, but this is comparing the unhedged shorts to the hedged shorts. And right now, what we've been seeing is this trend where they're coming closer together, where people who are shorting Bitcoin aren't taking it on unhedged bets. So they're transitioning to hedging with Bitcoin and hedging their shorts because they might think that the price is down as low as they can push it, and not being hedged would be a bad idea when you're shorting Bitcoin. So that is very bullish for Bitcoin, in my opinion. I think that changes a lot for Bitcoin here, because it wasn't even close. Like right now, we're seeing unhedged shorts at 1,089, hedge at 787. When shorts were massive and there was like a huge percent short, right now we're at 3.4% short, so plummeting on that as well. But when there was a huge percent, it was like 18,000 unhedged to 200 hedged. So that transition there just kind of makes me think that it's more of things getting more bullish, people being more nervous about the downside and not thinking it's there. The short sellers and shorters are more thinking that the price isn't really going to go down all that much in the whatever term they have. And then looking at some of these charts here, we've got Plan B's stock to flow chart. I think this is the S2FX model. So this is just kind of showing the price of Bitcoin, and then the supply shocks and stuff like that. And what we're seeing is something that we've compared to 2013 a lot. So you can see it like ran up and then had a cool off period here to another run up, whereas 2017 was just like a constant kind of flow up. Where we're seeing right here is like this run up, kind of a cool off period, and another run up is possible that we could see that, and that would put the price, this line right here is $288,000. So could put it north of that to like 300, 400,000 before obviously, settling around here before the next halving, taking off again. So this model has, Bitcoin going up towards over 1 million to like 5-6 million at this point at the next halving, which I don't think is ridiculous to have as a prediction, especially if you're bullish on Bitcoin and how it's changing everything and all of that. But this obviously brings into effect the six-figure Bitcoin that is pretty much imminent by the end of the year. That's what everyone's been thinking about, saying about predictions. That's what we want to see. That's the biggest first step in all of this, is hitting a six-figure Bitcoin. And I think that it's possible without a doubt. And it's just the price moves and stuff. People got to stop focusing on such short-term time periods, because, long-term Bitcoin has proven, and you can see that it's not very bearish. It's trending up and to the right. And this is a chart that compares the halvings. Obviously, you've seen this before, but this was 2013, this was 2017, and this is right now. And if you compared this halving and this cycle to previous ones, then you get Bitcoin running up to this level here would be around around like 450,000, somewhere around there, and a 2017 cycle would be around 400,000. So nowhere near the top if you want to go back and look through halvings and stuff. And you can do this chart as well, which kind of looks at the halvings, and this is like a predictive model of what it might look like for things to play out. And you can see it would have Bitcoin running up basically to $500,000 a coin, coming back down and balancing out around $200,000 a coin. So that's something that could happen. Another thing that could happen that people might not be even thinking about is this super cycle, which doesn't necessarily mean that this move goes like up to 1 million and then we come back down to something like 500,000, 400,000, stuff like that. A super cycle could mean that it's just a chug up to like this $500,000 million mark, or even if it goes to like a $300,000 mark, but there won't be a big downturn. Like it won't go from 300,000 down to 100,000, back up to 300, down to 80, and it won't have like that like bear market, like bad bear market that we've seen in Bitcoin. It might just be a slightly sideways trading period instead of a bear market. And we can see here, Bloomberg Bitcoin bulls claim that price charts indicate a move towards $44,000. So if we do see, obviously this is the chart here, and this points out the lower low, or the higher lows too. First low, second low is higher than this one. And if we get to this $44,000 mark, which is a big mark, because that puts us near the 46K. Doesn't get us there, obviously, but if we can get over 46, over that moving average, and try and reclaim some of this stuff, then I think we see a pretty big move up to like a new all-time high, maybe a six-figure Bitcoin in a relatively short amount of time. And so that's like the pricing of Bitcoin and stuff, but it does have a lot to do with a halving and how, it just gets harder to get Bitcoin over time. And this chart actually shows it here a little bit. You can get an estimate here when Bitcoin came out. This was first halving, second halving, the one we're in. So this is a block reward. So it's every 10 minutes there's a block. So you'd get 50 Bitcoin per 10 minutes, down to 25, 12 and a half, 6 and a quarter. So it just continues to get harder and harder to get Bitcoin, which obviously is the point. It's not supposed to be easy to get Bitcoin over time. That's what the halvings are meant for. But this just kind of gives you a little idea of how much harder it is getting over time to get Bitcoin, and why it's important to just hold Bitcoin, why it's an asset that you can hold. And as long as you are putting in money you don't have to think about, not doing leverage and taking super risky trades with it, maybe you can make a bunch of money taking more risk, but you can guarantee that you will have your Bitcoin in 5-10 years from now by not taking that risk and just using money that you don't need to worry about. I think some people get caught up in like making money and getting to the millions and stuff with Bitcoin, and to get to $1 million a coin in Bitcoin isn't going to be a straight ride. So if you take a bunch of risk, you might lose everything before Bitcoin can even get to those levels. But that's going to do it for this video. A little bit of talking about Bitcoin, the price action we're seeing, and if we can get over that $46,000 mark and over those moving averages, then we've got a very good chance to make another new all-time high in the short term. Long term, always bullish. Doesn't matter what happens with the price short term. Long-term fundamentals take over, and those have been absolutely crushing it and doing great. So as always, guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.